I work reception at a backpacker hostel in Brisbane. American woman checks in, sees our coffee machine, asks where the Starbucks is. I tell her there's one downtown, 20-minute walk. She stares at me like I've announced her execution. 20 minutes? That's insane. Can't I just Uber? The coffee machine is literally 3 meters from where we're standing. Free coffee. She opens the Uber app, spends $9 on a $4 latte. I mention our coffee's complimentary. She says, yeah, but it's not real coffee. The Uber arrives. She tips the driver $5 through the app for a 3-minute ride. $13 total for coffee. That's sitting free in the lobby. My cousin manages a bottle shop in Perth. American bloke comes in, grabs a 6-pack, heads to the counter. Price is $18. He pulls out his wallet, starts counting bills. So with taxes and everything like 25, my cousin just repeats the price. $18. The guy looks confused, genuinely suspicious. What's the catch? You're gonna add fees at checkout, right? Explains that Australian prices include everything. Tax, all of it. The number on the shelf is what you pay. American stands there processing this like it's quantum physics. Finally pays, then hovers awkwardly. Do I tip you? Or... My cousin laughs, says no. Guy leaves looking like he's gotten away with robbery. I'm a barista in Melbourne. American couple orders 2 flat whites. Bill comes to $9. Woman hands me a 50, tells me to keep 20 as a tip. I try explaining that's not how it works here. She insists. Says she knows hospitality workers get screwed on wages. I tell her I make $28 an hour. Decent penalty rates on weekends. She doesn't believe me. Keeps pushing the money. Come on, I know you need it. Eventually I take it just to end the interaction. Split it with my coworker later. 2 hours into their stay, they're back. Ordered through a food delivery app this time. Tipped the driver, tipped on the app, paid surge pricing. Spent $43 on the same thing that would have cost them $9 if they'd just walked back. My brother works at a community health clinic in Adelaide. American patient comes in for a routine checkup. First timer on Medicare. Appointment ends. She sits there waiting. Receptionist asks if she needs something else. The bill. Receptionist explains she's already covered under Medicare. Woman pulls out her insurance card from back home. Starts insisting there must be paperwork. But I didn't pay anything. How does the doctor get paid? Staff explains how public health care works. She tears up. Genuinely cries. Says she paid $400 last month for the same appointment back home. Not including insurance. Keeps asking where the catch is. What hidden fees will show up later. Leaves still not quite believing it's real. I run a gym in Canberra. American member asks about our premium membership. I explain it's $50 a month. Includes all classes. Sauna. Pool access. He nods. Asks about the initiation fee. There isn't one. The cancellation fee? Also none. Just 30 days notice. He's writing this down like I'm describing a legal loophole. Equipment rental. Included. Locker fee. Included guest passes. 2 per month. Free. He stops writing. Says his gym in Texas charged $80 a month base, plus $15 for classes, plus $25 initiation, plus $50 if you quit early. I tell him that sounds insane. He says, yeah, but that's just how gyms work. Pulls out his credit card. So what's this actually going to cost me? I repeat the price. $50. Everything in... He joins, but spends the first month convinced there'll be surprise charges. I'm a teacher in Sydney. American exchange students' parents visit for parent-teacher conferences. Meeting wraps up. Mom asks about school fees for the public school. I explain there aren't any. It's public education. She clarifies, she means the mandatory fees. The hidden costs. Supply fees, facility fees, technology fees. I explain we have a voluntary contribution, about $50 a year, mainly for excursions, totally optional. The dad jumps in. Says their public school back home charges $700 in required fees annually. plus sports fees, plus parking permits for the student lot, plus mandatory fundraiser participation. His son wants to play football here. I tell him school sports are free, equipment provided. Dad just shakes his head. You're telling me we moved to the expensive country and everything got cheaper? Mom's already Googling immigration lawyers. My partner works at a university in Melbourne. American grad student comes to her office confused about textbook costs. She's expecting to spend $600 minimum based on her US experience. My partner shows her the library's course reserve system. Every required text available for free. 2-hour borrowing. Student asks about the digital access codes. We don't really do those here. The homework platform subscription? Most courses don't use them. Student pulls up her US transcript. $300 for a biology access code that expired after 1 semester? Another $200 for an online math platform. Spent $800 one term on books she used twice. She asks if she's understanding correctly. Free textbook access. My partner confirms. Student sits there quietly for a moment and asks if she can submit an official complaint about the entire American higher education system. I manage a cafe in Hobart. American tourist orders smashed avo on toast, cappuccino. Bill's $21. She pays, then stands at the counter expectantly. I ask if she needs something. You didn't ask about tip. I explain we don't do mandatory tipping. She argues the service was great. She wants to tip. I thank her but say it's not necessary. She leaves $3 anyway, clearly uncomfortable not following her script. Returns the next morning. Orders the same thing. This time she's done research. Read about Australian wage laws. Asks what I make hourly? I tell her between the base rate and weekend penalties, about $33 on Sundays. She processes this. So you don't need tips to survive? That's the idea. She sits down, visibly relaxed. Says she's been in Australia for days and it's the first time. She's eaten out without calculating tip percentages in her head before ordering. Spent 17 minutes yesterday on her phone figuring out if she should tip the Uber driver. She didn't. My uncle runs a pizza joint in Darwin. American family comes in, studies the menu for ages, finally orders 3 pizzas, garlic bread, drinks. Kids are stoked. Bill comes to $58. Dad's credit card gets declined. Tries another card. Also declined. He's mortified, apologizing. Pulls up his banking app, convinced there's been fraud. Account shows plenty of money. Problem is, he's calculated the meal would cost $90+ with tax and tip, budgeted accordingly. Locked his cards thinking someone was making unauthorized charges when they only charged $58. We explain the price includes everything. No tip expected. He calls his bank, gets the cards unlocked, ends up ordering 2 more pizzas to take home because he's got $40 he wasn't expecting to have. Tells his kids this is the best vacation he's been on. They've been here 2 days. I work the ticket counter at a cinema in Perth. American couple buys 2 tickets, popcorn, drinks. Totals $39. Woman hands me $50. Waits for her change. I give her $11. She stares at the money. This doesn't feel right. Asks if I calculated the service charge. There isn't one. What about the processing fee for using card? They paid cash. Convenience fee? Not a thing here. She counts the change again. Tells her husband something's wrong. They're being undercharged. He checks the receipt. Everything's itemized correctly. She insists on speaking to a manager because she's certain we've made a mistake and doesn't want us getting in trouble. Manager confirms the total. No hidden fees. Woman finally accepts this but keeps the receipt to check against her bank statement later. They come back the following week. Same seats, same snacks. This time, she pays exact change, triumphant that she's figured out the system. There is no system. It's just the price. My mate works at a butcher in Newcastle. American woman comes in wanting steaks for a barbecue. Picks out nice ribeyes, about $60 worth. At the counter, she asks about the membership discount. We don't have memberships. Loyalty card. Don't do those either. She's confused. How do you get repeat customers? By selling good meat, apparently. She pivots. Fine, but I'm buying bulk. What's my bulk discount? These are 3 steaks. That's not bulk. She argues that back home, everywhere has loyalty programs, membership tiers, bulk discounts, app-exclusive deals. You have to optimize everything, or you're wasting money. My mate just wraps her steaks. $60. She pays but lectures him about leaving money on the table by not implementing a points system. Comes back 2 weeks later, admits the steaks were perfect, reasonably priced, and she didn't have to download an app or create an account or scan anything. Feels weird, but she'll allow it. I'm a tram driver in Melbourne. American tourist gets on, asks how the fare system works. I explain Mickey Card's 2-hour and daily rates. He asks about surge pricing. We don't have surge pricing. Peak hour rates? Same price all day. Zones. Only matters for longer trips outside the city. He's taking notes. So, hypothetically, if there's a massive event, stadium lets out, everyone needs a tram price stays the same? Correct. He tells me that's insane. Basic economics. His city has dynamic pricing on everything. Parking meters charge more during business hours. Toll roads adjust rates by traffic. Even some bars do happy hour in reverse, charging more when they're busy. Makes sense from a market perspective, he says. Keeps asking if I'm sure about the flat rate. Absolutely certain. He rides the tram for 3 stops, gets off shaking his head. You're leaving so much money on the table. My sister's a flight attendant on domestic routes. American passenger flying Sydney to Brisbane asks about checking a bag. She explains the baggage allowance. He cuts her off. No, how much does it cost to check a bag? It's included in the ticket price. He doesn't believe her. Pulls up his email confirmation, reads through the terms, finds the baggage policy. Free checked bag. Free carry-on. Seat selection included. He calls over another attendant for confirmation. This isn't a budget trick where I get hit with fees at the gate. No tricks. Everything stated is included. He sits back. Explains he flew domestic in the US last month. Paid $40 to check a bag, $35 for a seat assignment, and $12 for a bottle of water on the plane. This flight cost him less than his baggage fees alone. Spends the whole flight convinced he's booked the wrong ticket or there's been a computer error. I work at a car rental place in Cairns. American couple books a sedan for a week. Picks it up, asks about the insurance options. I explain they've got basic coverage included, can upgrade to full coverage for $12 a day. Wife immediately says yes. Husband argues it's a waste. She pulls out her phone, shows him screenshots. Their last US rental charged them $8 and $9 a day for insurance on top of the car rate, plus underage driver fees, plus equipment fees, plus airport pickup fees, plus fuel service charges. Rental was $340. Final bill was $712. Here, their total is $350 for the week with full coverage. He keeps checking the contract for fine print. Asks about mileage limits, unlimited. Drop-off fees if we return it early. None. Cleaning fees. Clean it out reasonably. We're good. Takes them 20 minutes to accept this is the actual price. They return it a week later, tank half full, apologizing. I tell them it's fine. We'll fuel it. Wife looks near tears. You're not going to charge us $50 for fuel service? We're going to fuel it. That's it. My dad manages a pharmacy in Wollongong. American woman brings in a prescription from her doctor. He processes it, tells her it's $6.50 for the medication. She laughs. No, seriously, how much? That's the price. PBS subsidized. She argues the medication costs $240 in the States per month. Without insurance? This is a generic blood pressure medication. Common as dirt. Dad shows her the label. $6.50. She pays but keeps the receipt like it's a winning lottery ticket. Calls her husband from the parking lot. We can hear her through the window. She's crying again. Not sad crying. Angry crying. Saying she can't believe how much they've been spending on prescriptions. Back home, when the same pills cost basically nothing here, comes back an hour later. Asks if she can fill 3 months of prescriptions now. Wants to stockpile before she leaves. Dad explains that's not really how it works, but she can get a month now and refill normally next time. She takes what she can get. I bartend at a pub in Fremantle. American regulars been here for months on a work visa. Finally got comfortable with how things work. No tipping. Prices include taxes. Healthcare's cheap. Transport's reliable. Everything just costs what it says it costs. He's at the bar, second beer, doing calculations on a napkin. Figures he spent about 60% less on daily expenses here than back home, even though everyone told him Australia was more expensive. Same quality of life, better actually. Less time budgeting. Less anxiety about unexpected costs. Just bought groceries without having to comparison shop across 4 stores to optimize discounts. Crazy concept. Tells me he's dreading going back. Not just missing Australia, but the exhaustion of American spending culture. The constant optimization, the tipping calculations, the hidden fees, the mental load of it all. Says he didn't realize how tired it made him until he spent months without it. Finishes his beer. Orders another. Pays the listed price. No tax added. No tip expected. No gotchas. Stares at his receipt for a moment. I really hate that this feels revolutionary.